that winter frost is finally thawed, and with it comes a year of music, concerts, and festivals. In this episode, I talk about all the live music that I would love to check out this year if I had an unlimited pass to see it all. Listen to hear what artists are on my radar.
Welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Breathe Music podcast, where we talk all things music. I'm your host, Jeanette Kimsel, music blogger and enthusiast. Let's get started with today's episode.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Breathe Music podcast. I'm your host, Jeanette Kimsel. For those of you just joining us, this is the podcast where we talk about different music and all the things that make it great. This week I'm doing a little something different. Instead of talking about an artist, I am going to just talk a little bit about all the concerts that are coming down the pike, and I'm super excited about. While concerts have been popping up a lot more lately, there's something special about the spring and summertime concerts. Maybe it goes back to that whole summer vacation feel when you're out of school and you have all these great concerts to see and you're planning your whole summer. The warm weather is starting to creep in and winter is finally over. It's also nice not to have to bring a coat to a concert and have it checked or hold it the whole time you're standing there if you don't have seats. Or if you do have seats, you could put it on the seat. But I don't know. So, I'm probably not going to be able to see all these concerts. I still have a weirdness about going to live shows and being around so many people. There's a lot of shows that are in big venues where I'm kind of I don't know, do I really want to be around all these people? And I know, things are getting better, but at the same time, I'm a little hesitant. And I think also it's maybe just my introvertism of being around a lot of people. Although, even in the past, I've had, for my whole life, I think I've been kind of an introvert and very just kind of shy and quiet. And going to see concerts was the only thing that really, I didn't care about being around, a ton of people. I remember being in high school and going to assemblies and freaking out about all the people sitting around me, and I would just sit there and I'd hug my backpack and I'd be when is this gonna be over, because I hate it. And I hated walking through the halls, but for some reason going to concerts was no big deal, even at really large venues. I remember we used to go and see Limp Bizkit a ton. I don't know, we were obsessed with Limp Bizkit. And we would go to they would be playing at what is now, I don't even know if the venue's open anymore. It was the, I think it was the Continental Airlines Arena, but it was something else before that. It's right by, across the street from where the Giants play, and I can't for the life of me think of that right now. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I remember going to shows like that, and we'd be on the floor, and I'd be stuck in a pit of people, and I don't know, it didn't bother me. Maybe because it was you're focusing on the band and you're focusing on the music, and there's just something about the energy that you get from seeing live music that just kind of shuts out everything else. Because during the show I'd be really into it, but every other time in my life I'd hate being around people or too many people, I don't know. I feel like a weirdo, but that's me. But I think that the fact that there's a lot more concerts going on now, it's so weird, because it was there was nothing. And now there's all this stuff going on. I was doing some Google searches to see what was coming up. And it's funny, everyone's on tour. And it's because, it's been so long since people have been able to go on tour. And now it's everything. And it's almost overwhelming because, there's all these bands you see. There's a venue by me that opens in the summer. Well, I guess early spring, whenever it gets to be warm enough to be outside. It's an outdoor amphitheater, and they have a ton of artists. And I'm all these shows look really good. But then it's it gets so expensive. And that's the thing too. I think now, because ticket prices have gone up so much, you really have to think about what you want to see, and you have to prioritize, and you have to be okay, well, who do I want to see? And there are some bands that you would look at the ticket price and be well, can I justify paying this to see all these bands? So it's you really have to pick and choose what you want to see, because there's just too much to see. One thing that is nice is there are a lot of festivals happening, and it seems like every year there's a new festival popping up. And the festivals are good because at least it gives you, there's some overlap sometimes. I was looking to see like what's been happening with the festivals and what the lineups are, and a lot of the bands are like overlapping. I saw Green Day is playing like 4 different festivals this year. So the festivals are nice because you can pay one price for 3 or 4 days of music, and you can see a lot more bands that might be playing individually on tour. And then you also can find new music when there's a ton of like other bands that you might not even know. So festivals can be a nice way to get a lot of music for your money. One festival by us that's going to be playing is the See Here Now Festival. And See Here Now is weird because I don't know, the buying tickets before knowing the lineup is new to me, but maybe it's been something that's been done before. But this year we decided just to get tickets because they were cheapest before you know the lineup. So it's like you're almost gambling a little bit because you're like, oh, is this going to be good? And we were pleasantly surprised. And the other bonus is that it's super close and we can ride our bikes there. So that's another festival that I'm looking forward to. Music festivals are great because you can see a lot of music for one price. There's one in Kentucky that looks really interesting. If 9 Inch Nails is headlining that, and also Slipknot, and Red Hot Chili Pepper. So it's really like a 90s palooza lately. Like I feel like there's so many bands from the 90s that are touring. I mean, it's great, it's like nostalgia. I feel like I'm in high school again, and I can see bands that I never saw before that I didn't get to see in high school. So that's always a fun thing. It's called Louder Than Life, and it's in Kentucky. A lot of these festivals are all within a few weeks of each other or overlap. The See Here Now, which is in September, and then there's that Louder Than Life, Louder Than Life, that's in Kentucky. That's like the week after. And then there's also the Firefly Festival, that's in Delaware. And this lineup's pretty good too. I mean, it's got Halsey, My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance hasn't played together in so long. They also are going on their own tour, so if you wanted to see them separately, that works too. But, there's a lot of good artists in this Firefly Festival, so that's one to definitely check out. Again, this festival I think is in September too, so it's hard to make a choice. There's so many things to choose from. Lollapalooza was just announced their lineup this week. A lot of overlap. Metallica, Dua Lipa, Green Day, Machine Gun Kelly. Those were the main headliners. There was another festival in Boston that the Foo Fighters are playing. Then there's Riot Fest in September in Chicago with the Misfits and My Chemical Romance playing. The rest of the lineup hasn't been announced yet. I've always been intrigued with Riot Fest, but have yet to go. The past lineups have always made it look like a fun show. There are so many festivals, it's hard to count and keep up with them. I was looking online and I was reading some article, and there was a festival here and a festival there, and there's festivals on the East Coast, West Coast, in the middle and the South, and it's great. There's so much music for everyone to see. And alternatively, if you don't want to go to a festival, there's a ton of artists that are touring that you can see. March is almost over, but there are still a week or two with some shows. I know this Friday, March 25th, there is a show featuring New England reggae artist Joe Samba and the New Jersey reggae group P-Funk North. They're playing at the Saint in Asbury Park. It's a quaint, cozy, intimate venue that is definitely one to check out. I was looking in to see what's happening in April, and there's about 2 shows that were interesting to me. Actually, 3 shows. One is Walk the Moon, and they are playing at Busch Gardens in Tampa. Now, again, this is a traveling trip, but it would be so great if we could get to see them. The other bands that I saw that are playing in April are this band Rivals. They're playing in Brooklyn. So that's another show that I was looking forward to seeing. And then I came across this other band that's playing, and I was listening to his music and I really liked it. It was, his name is Kenny Hoopla, and he has a sound that I would describe as a mix of emo, kind of like Blink-182 meets Block Party, like that pop punk. I mean, I was really taken with his music, and I enjoyed that, and I was like, oh, this guy's local, or he's playing local, and that would be fun to see. In May, we're going to go see Nightwish. My husband loves them. They're symphonic metal, and their music is very intense and powerful. A really good live show. Then in May, The Offspring, and Sum 41 and Simple Plan are all playing locally. So that's going to be a busy month. I feel like we have a lot on the calendar that we want to see, and it's all very nostalgic. Again, like very 90s, 2000s, very exciting. I also saw that Machine Gun Kelly is playing with Avril Lavigne in June, and I don't know if it's just because he was working with Travis Barker, but his music reminds me of Blink-182 with some rap rhymes thrown in. And there's something about him that, like, I don't know, I'm curious and I'm kind of interested, but at the same time, it's, again, a huge venue, and I don't know if I'm into, like, going to a huge venue. I was scrolling through different venues and looking online to see what else is playing, and there's so many bands, and I feel like if you had that magic ticket where you could just see everything, it would be great. I never saw Alanis Morissette live back in the day, and I saw she's on tour. I saw Dave Matthews is on tour. I saw that band Haim is playing Madison Square Garden, which is really awesome. They've like gotten so big over the last couple years. I saw New Kids on the Block are playing, and there's this just like there's something about New Kids on the Block. They're always so good, even though it's like I feel super embarrassed to like say that I like them still, but they are fun. And again, it's nostalgia, it's like taking you back to that time when you were younger, and it was so much fun. But there's just so much music that's happening this summer, and I feel like it's a little overwhelming, and if only we could see everything, but we have to pick and choose and hope to see some of these bands. I also saw that The Used is playing. They haven't played in forever. They're playing with Rise Against at a local venue by me. It's definitely going to be a summer of music, and it's really exciting that things are back and we can go and see live music. Hopefully things will continue to be good and we can see the live music this summer that we want to see. And I am looking forward to seeing as much music as I possibly can this year. And I'd love to know what music you're looking forward to and what concerts you're like super excited about as well. You can leave a comment on the podcast webpage or leave an audio comment at the link in the show summary. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, if you're looking for more new music, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you can get the latest updates on our artist features. And you can also find more music features on our website at www.eatsleepbreathemusic.com. That is EATSLEEPBREATHEMUSIC.com. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next episode.
Thanks so much for listening to the Eat, Sleep, Breathe Music podcast. To find new music and learn more about what we do, you can check out our website at www.eatsleepbreathemusic.com.